Tonight, tournament is almost starting, so me and Carter are going to be in it. Me and Carter have to be on it tomorrow too. So yeah, only happens on Fridays and Saturdays. So we're gonna just play a little bit of solo for you. So yeah. I'm just gonna wait for the cash cup or the cup.
The first 10 levels of the game.
So easy.
My friend Joshua is a rich jerk. We go to the same. Whenever I study for an exam, he laughs at me and says, "Bro, too bad you don't have rich parents like me. Then you could relax more." This really makes me angry because my mom works 2 jobs and still barely makes enough money to feed me and my 2 sisters. I even had to get a weekend job at a call center just so I can support my family. When Joshua heard about my job, he said, "I don't understand how anyone can slave away at a desk job." Well, of course that's easy for him to say, because his parents consistently give him money to take trips all over the world. And to make things worse, he always takes 4 to 5 girls from our school with them, so they can all take endless Instagram photos and brag about their amazing life. If that wasn't annoying enough, everyone in my school leaves stupid comments like, "OMG, it's great that you have set your priorities straight," or, "You know how to enjoy life. This is much better than my boring summer job." They all act as if Joshua is a genius, just because he spends his parents' money on vacations. But in reality, he's just an entitled and arrogant kid that doesn't deserve anything he has. He also told me that he could never work for somebody else because he has a problem with authority. Well, that's a nice thing to say for someone who never has to get a job and become a productive member of society. Instead, Joshua told me that he wants to just travel the world and sleep with as many women as he can. That's why I hate him. He knows exactly how poor my family is, and he can say to me that he will have a much easier life than me. He will probably end up like this guy Dan Bilzerian, who inherited a bunch of money and now brags about how much better his life is compared to most other people. I'm so sick of rich kids. Another joke that Joshua came up with last week was that his first car is better than any car I'll ever own. Right now, he drives a BMW X5, but he said he will get a sports car from his parents as soon as he successfully graduates high school. I know this sounds bad, but I really hope his parents go broke and lose all their money, because it's so unfair that an asshole like Joshua has such an easy life while the rest of us need to keep working so hard for so little money. However, I don't think his parents will go broke anytime soon. So instead, I have to somehow build my own successful business and become richer than him and his stupid parents. Once I've done that, I'll go meet him again and tell him that now he is poorer than me. I must take revenge for all of those years that he humiliated me and made fun of me. That's the only way I can find peace with myself. Anyways, I'd love to hear about your opinion on this topic. So please leave a comment and tell me how you would handle the situation. And if you want this video to spread across the internet, then please share it. We have to stop celebrating rich jerks that make themselves feel better by putting everyone else down, especially as most of them inherited their money from their parents.
Hi, I'm Apple, and I just started working as a secretary at a big company. I was thinking about how great this job was compared to my old babysitting job. All those stinky diapers. One time, I was emptying that family's trash, and the bag was broken. The diapers full of poop went everywhere. It was so disgusting. And that's when the idea came to me. Why do people not reuse diapers? What if there was a diaper delivery service? You could order clean diapers, someone would send dirty ones, and you'd never have to deal with cleaning them yourself. Genius. And imagine if there was an app for it. It was a brilliant idea. So I
can't hear anything.
Business proposal for it and called it Diaper Daddy. I told my boss about it the next day, and you won't believe what he said Haley, did I ask you? No, I didn't. You've been hired specifically to do whatever I ask of you, and right now I'm asking you not to pretend that you have a brain for marketing, because you don't. Got it? I thought he'd at least think it was a good idea. The next day, I saw the CEO and my boss having a meeting in the glass meeting room. Was my proposal. I couldn't believe it. It was my idea. He'd stolen my diaper daddy ab idea. The whole time he was presenting, he kept looking at the CEO and smiling. It was sickening to watch. He was such a suck-up, and the CEO loved everything about the idea. After the meeting, he emailed him straight away and offered him a $10 million deal if he could create the app and get it within a month. I sat there flabbergasted. That $10 million deal should have been mine. I knew my boss probably assumed I'd freak out and ask him why he'd taken my idea, but I decided to do something else instead. Something he wouldn't be expecting. The next day, the CEO had arranged for an app development team to come in and talk about the diaper deal. I told my boss the meeting was scheduled for 1:30 p.m., when actually it was scheduled for 1 p.m. It was one of our colleagues' birthdays that day, and I brought in 2 giant helium-filled balloons. 5 minutes before the meeting, I decided it'd be fun if we inhaled some of the helium. I knew my boss was always up for a laugh, so I gave him some too. After he'd inhaled it all, I saw the look of horror cross his face when he noticed the app team arriving. Oops, my bad, I said. The meeting is actually now. In the meeting, my boss stood up to introduce his idea, and as he spoke, his voice came out all high-pitched and squeaky like Mickey Mouse. The CEO looked horrified, and the whole app team burst out laughing. Then he whispered in my ear, begging me to explain the idea, but then I said, "What idea are you talking about?" Even though my boss was embarrassed, he couldn't control his laughter, even when he tried to stop. I sat there almost peeing myself with laughter at how brilliant this was. Afterwards, my boss came marching out of the meeting room and went straight to me and screamed, "You're fired." He said he'd never been so humiliated in all his life and that I was to leave the building right now. I told my boss, "You'll regret this," and threw whatever was on my desk into a box I found on the side and headed home. First he'd stolen my idea, and now he'd fired me? What a horrible man. I took my stuff out of the box and saw something I recognized straight away. It was my boss. What was it doing in this box? I must have almost as if I thought my boss would suddenly appear. I slid the screen up and almost peed my pants for the second time that day. His screensaver... Maybe his daughter did that, I thought, but then I reminded myself he didn't have a daughter. I clicked onto the gallery to see what other photos he had, and just as I did, the phone started to vibrate. Someone was calling. It was his mom, and she was named Mommy Dearest. I almost choked. This was too good. I answered, but didn't say anything. "Where is my sweet potato? Hello? Are you done? It's after 6 p.m. now. Hurry home or you'll be sent to bed without dessert." I had to hang up quickly for fear that she'd hear me laughing. Who was my boss? All of a sudden he felt like a complete stranger to me. I mean, he's like 50 and I started flicking through his messages and started reading his conversations with his mom. "Mom, your room stinks and your bubble bath is ready. If you don't come home now, I'll tell your papa about the money order that just arrived. Also, I told you to stop buying these damn toys. You're a big boy now." Me. "Never again, Mama, I promise." So weird. What a loser he was. And then I saw something absolutely unbelievable. In his gallery, there was a whole album of photos called Me and My Soulmate. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend. I tried to open the album, but it was locked. Damn. The next day I woke up. Sure, I'd been fired, but that wasn't going to stop me. I walked into the office and everyone stared in shock. "Yeah, Kaylee's back, folks. Stare all you like," I thought. My boss looked up and asked me, "What on earth do you think you're doing here?" Instead of responding, I just flashed his phone, winked at him, and took my old seat. Once everyone had calmed down, I turned to him and said, "Hey, Pony. A latte with almond milk, please, and a blueberry muffin." And then I watched as his face turned beet. This was priceless. He ignored me, so I spoke up again. "Hey, pony boy, I'm talking to you. Get me a latte now. Or would you rather I gave Mommy Dearest a call? 5 minutes later, there was a latte in my hands, and a delicious blueberry muffin. Wow, is this what it felt like to be the boss? I was taking a sip when he came right up to me and whispered into my ear for me to give him the phone right now, or he'd report me. I almost spat out my latte. Report me to who, exactly? I just gave him a smirk and turned back to my laptop. After an hour, I decided I needed to flex my muscles a bit more. I told him we're swapping desks, and then when he didn't react, I just started moving my stuff to his desk. He tried to object, so at the top of my voice I said, "Sweet potato, I'm warning you." And suddenly, he started moving things off his desk at lightning speed. This was amazing. "Call me boss," and then at lunch, I ordered 10 pizzas, a dozen donuts, and made him go collect it all and bring it to my desk. Watching him scurry along like my little slave was such a great moment. He was my secretary now. I was officially Boss Kaylee. He tried so hard to get his phone back, even offered me the $10 million deal that was rightfully due. But I wasn't done having fun. I watched over the next few days as he started panicking about getting the app up and running. Every time he had a meeting with the CEO, I'd schedule a delivery from Amazon to be delivered to the meeting room. I could see the CEO getting annoyed, and on the 4th day of this happening, he asked him to open the package. I thought it was something for the app, but when my boss pulled out a pink, sparkly My Little Pony, I literally almost died laughing. I could hear my boss mumbling something about how it was a gift for his niece. Yeah, right. By the end of the week, I was really having fun being his boss. I even made him order fresh flowers for my desk every day. Throughout the whole week, I tried every password imaginable, but I still couldn't access the locked album. And then I realized it was tied to his Google account, and I could just click Forgot Password and be asked a security question. Of course, the question would be, what is your favorite character? So I asked him, so which pony is the best pony in your opinion? And then he just told me. I could barely contain my excitement. Princess Twilight Sparkle. I typed it in, changed his password, and then I was in. I couldn't believe my eyes. There were hundreds of photoshopped photos. All of them were of my boss and our CEO. In one photo, they were riding atop a My Little Pony, flying through rainbows and clouds. And then there were photos of them at the beach and on the mountain, all with My Little Ponies. And all photoshopped, of course. Oh my gosh, I was stunned. So my boss was in love with our CEO? No way. I didn't even realize how much I was laughing. But my boss asked me what was so funny, and then he realized, and he lunged for his phone, but I quickly pulled it away. "I know your secret," I said, grinning. Literally within the blink of an eye, he packed up all his stuff and left. He didn't look embarrassed as he left the office. He actually looked hurt, and I swear I saw him crying as he walked out. This was the boss, and yet now, I suddenly felt bad. I used his phone to track down his address and then jumped in a taxi. In the taxi, I started reading some of the messages between him and the CEO, and it was clear they liked each other. When I got to his house, his mom let me in, and I found him curled up on his bed crying like a little kid. Wow, he was really upset about all of this. When he saw me, he told me to go away, but I went over to him, and when I sat down, he started crying even more, saying for years he's been in love with the CEO, but what's the point? It's not like he would ever love him back. Suddenly, I found myself saying, I'm sure the CEO liked him too, that I'd seen the way he looked at him. There was definitely love in his eyes. I apologized to him for everything I'd done, and he said it didn't matter, that nothing mattered if CEO. Just before I left, I texted the CEO from his phone, asking him to meet for a drink to celebrate the deal, and then I put his phone next to his bed and said goodbye. I waited outside the bar for a whole hour until I saw them meeting, and they looked so happy together. They were chatting non-stop, and I felt like I'd done something good. The next day at work, my boss told the CEO that it had been my idea. I immediately got promoted. As for the CEO and my boss, we had meetings and so on. But I can tell that I know my boss only took my idea to impress him. And anyway, I think we're pretty even now. In fact, we're actually pretty good friends now after I bought him a limited edition Princess Twilight Sparkle and said sorry for everything I did to him. What do you think of my story? Please share your comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories. What are you?
And when my kid sister Tammy was 19, she was in a serious car accident. A truck ran into her car on the freeway and damaged her. They had to cut her out of the wreck. She was in a coma for a month. We really thought she was going to pass away. But just as my ready to switch off life support, Tammy opened her eyes. It was a miracle. My mom burst into tears when Tammy woke up. Because she wasn't giving her a hug. Tammy said, "Who are you?" She didn't recognize any of us. And although we explained we were family, Tammy didn't believe us. She got more and more upset. The doctors told us we should leave because we were stressing her out. The doctors told us Tammy broke both her legs in the accident. But they also told us she suffered brain damage. It's like they're stuck in time. They can make new memories and store them in their brain, but they can't get them back. So they forget everything that happens to them. It's like they relive the same day over and over and don't realize they're getting older. It was really weird. Tammy remembered me and my dad, but she didn't know who our mom was, and we had to introduce her every time Mom visited. The doctor said it was possible Tammy might eventually remember some things. It was unlikely she'd ever get her memory back. They were Tammy in a nursing facility. They said it would be really stressful for her to live at home because she wouldn't be able to cope with anything changing. Tammy got a large settlement from the insurers, so we had the money to put her in an institute, but my parents said no. Mom said there was no way her daughter was going to spend the rest of her life in a hospital. So instead, my parents bought a house overlooking the ocean, and we all agreed to look after Tammy there. She always used to love swimming in the sea, so my parents thought maybe it might help get her memory back. But moving by the ocean was a disaster. The first morning Tammy woke up, she screamed because she thought she'd been kidnapped. Every morning we had to explain what had happened, but she'd still wake up screaming the next day. It got really boring. In the end, my dad wrote Tammy a letter and left it by her bed every night, so when she woke up, she could read it and find out what was happening to her. It stopped her screaming, but she was miserable. She hated not being able to get a job and having to spend all day with her family instead of having a life of her own. She started going for lunch at a local diner. After she finished eating, looking after Tammy was really hard on me. I felt like my life was on hold because of my sister. But then I met Elsie. She was in the diner when I went to collect Tammy one day, and she was the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. She had long black hair, and her eyes were the most incredible blue. I know it sounds dumb, but the moment I saw her, I knew I was going to spend the rest of my life with her. Elsie and I got talking. She agreed to go out on a date. I felt so nervous getting ready to go out with her. This was the first time I'd been on a date for years, and I didn't know how Elsie would react when I told her about my sister. I took her to dinner at my favorite seafood restaurant, and when we talked, it was like we'd known each other our whole lives. When I told her about Tammy, and how I would always have to be there for my sister, she was so understanding. Elsie and I started dating, and when I took her home to meet my parents, they really liked her too, but Tammy didn't. I figured she was jealous of me spending time outside the family, but Tammy said she didn't trust her. I didn't care. Elsie made me happy, but not long after that, everything changed. Tammy came home from dinner and told us she'd met a guy, and she really liked him. We all knew she'd forget about him by the next day, so we just smiled and said we were happy for her. But the next day, she came home and told us she'd met a guy. Then the next, and the next. What was she thinking? Was she dating the entire town? It was obvious something weird was going on. I told Elsie I was worried about Tammy, and Elsie said I should go with Tammy to the diner to meet this guy. When we got to the diner, I told Tammy I wanted to sit by myself. She went to her regular table, and I went to a table where I could watch her. We'd been there for about 20 minutes when a man walked past her. I could see why Tammy liked him. He was good looking, with the sort of bad boy looks women love. He pretended to trip and knock her drink over. I had to admire how smooth he was. He apologized to Tammy and started talking to her. It wasn't long before she invited him to sit down, and the pair of them had lunch together. After they finished eating, they got up and started to leave. Quickly, I hurried after them and caught up with them just as Tammy was getting into the guy's car. "Hey," I said, "what do you think you're doing with my sister?" Tammy started complaining I was being stupid, but the man smiled at her and told her he understood why I was suspicious. He said he had a little sister of his own. I asked him to talk to me in private. Tammy was really mad at me for getting involved, but he was obviously sensitive about the I wanted to make sure that he was on the same level. The man introduced himself as Ralph. He said he first met Tammy a couple of weeks ago when he really did knock into her by accident. When he called her the next day, he really liked Tammy, so he went back to the diner to see what was up. When to see my sister. He said he asked her about different things that they met. She didn't remember him. Ralph seemed genuine, so I invited him back to our house for dinner to meet our parents. I called Elsie and asked her to come along as well. We're just like a normal family. When we all sat down at the dinner table, Tammy frowned. Tammy had no idea what it was like to have to look after her. Ralph and Tammy carried on dating, although we had to tell her who he was every day. It was really expensive, but she was worth every cent. When I went down, Elsie squealed and said yes. I'll never forget how happy I was when she agreed to marry me. We started planning the wedding, but that's when things started to go wrong. Elsie wanted a designer wedding dress and a honeymoon in the Maldives, flying first class and staying in 5-star hotels. I told her I didn't have the money for any of this, but she said we should take the money from Tammy's settlement. I said I couldn't because it was my sister's money, but Elsie said I deserved a share because of how I'd given up my life with Tammy. She said Tammy wouldn't remember how much money she had anyway. I still said no. I couldn't take money from my little sister. We had a huge fight, and in the end, I said I'd talk to my parents about it. I wanted Elsie to be happy. My mom and dad said the money was Tammy's, so I couldn't use it all for my wedding, but they did agree to take out a few $1,000s for me. We couldn't have the country club or designer dresses. We used my own savings as well. We'd still have a beautiful wedding. But when they went to the bank to take out the money, they had a horrible shock. Tammy's account was empty. My dad went nuts and demanded to see the manager. He told her Tammy had come in with her fiancé and taken out all the money. What fiancé? Yelled my dad. We'd never let them get married. How could you let her take all her money? You know she's not capable of making financial decisions. I'm sorry, said the manager. Her fiancé showed us papers giving him the right to make decisions for her. They looked like you'd signed them, so we thought everything was okay. Ralph had stolen all of Tammy's settlement. I felt awful. My sister had lost her money, and Elsie wasn't going to have the wedding she wanted. It got worse. When I told Elsie what had happened, I thought she would be sympathetic, but she was so mad she broke up with me. She said she couldn't be with someone stupid enough to let a con man steal from them. I asked her to give my engagement ring back. I figured I could sell it and give the money to Tammy, but Elsie refused. She said she deserved it for putting up with me. I was so depressed. The worst part was that Tammy forgot all about Elsie. So whenever I tried to talk to her about why I was upset, she was making it up. About 6 months later, the police called. They said they caught Ralph and Elsie. It turns out they were brother and sister and had a history of working together to steal from vulnerable people. They'd heard about what happened to Tammy in the news, so Elsie started a relationship with me to get more information about her. Then, Ralph got into a relationship with my sister. They even had a contest between them to see who could steal my sister's money faster. We got most of the money back, but Ralph and Elsie had spent the rest. They were sent to prison for a long time. The only good thing was that Tammy didn't remember Ralph. Idea how badly he treated her. But Elsie broke my heart. After what happened with her, I'll never date again. I'm going to look after my sister for the rest of her life. If you liked my story, remember to like, comment, and share for more videos.
The phone near my head lights up with a new text. My eyes are blurry, but I reach over and grab it. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and my head is pounding. I've never felt like this in my entire life. The dizziness is real, and as I look at my pillow, I notice that there is a small blood stain. I touch the back of my head to find a lump the size of a baseball. Oh my God, I said out loud. What the hell happened last night? As I look over the blood in my hand, I notice a small heart drawn in pen. Next to the heart, there are 7 numbers. Someone's phone number? I don't remember anything about last night. What a way to start off a new year. Instead of looking at the text I received, I decide to do the next smartest thing. I have no recollection of how I got home, so maybe this number knows what I don't. I type in the 7 numbers and think about how to approach this situation. Should I say, ask for identification? Instead, I type a message. Who is this? I didn't expect a reply so early in the morning, but almost instantly, a message popped up. Good morning, beautiful. I see you found my love note. And I still don't know who you are, I typed back. Remember me from last night, Kellen? Kellen? I had no idea who I was talking to. All I can remember from last night is getting ready with my girlfriends, heading out to the party at Sarah's house, and then nothing. Sorry, I think I fell and hit my head last night. Can you refresh my memory? Huh, likely story, Annabelle. Meet me at Joe's and I'll give you another kiss. Another kiss? You mean to tell me that I had my first kiss with someone that I don't even know, and I don't remember it? Oh Lord, this year is going to be super strange. After chatting back and forth with Kellen for a while, I decided that maybe he was the real deal. Maybe we had something last night. It's worth a try. Through text, he told me that he'd be wearing a dark green hoodie, baseball cap, mop of curly brown hair. One shower, and a couple of hours later, I reluctantly opened the door to Joe's diner. I scanned the diner, then my eyes locked on the most gorgeous boy I had ever seen in my life. This couldn't be him. What the heck would a supermodel want with me? I walked over to him, holding out my hand with the heart on it. Did you draw this? Trying to sound cute and charming, but probably coming off as a weirdo. A huge grin spread across his face. I did. He nodded and offered me a seat. I barely ordered my coffee before Kellen grabbed my hand. You look gorgeous this morning. Did you say you fell and hit your head? I nodded. I did. At least, I think I did. I woke up with a huge knot in the back of my head and I can't remember anything. Especially you. Kellen laughed, but he looked a bit hurt. We had a magical night last night, Annabelle. Tell me what happened. Sarah's party had been going on for a while, and Kellen was getting bored. All of his friends had left to go to another party, but he was left behind. He noticed me from across the room and told me he instantly fell in love with my smile. A quiet flirtation soon turned into us dancing all night, and we ended up walking home together. He held my hand and wrote his number on it with a heart. We kissed as soon as it hit midnight, and magic filled the air, according to him. That all sounds like a lovely fairy tale, but I don't remember you, I said. Can I kiss you? Maybe that will help you remember, he asked, beginning to stand up from the booth. I wanted to kiss him, but at the same time, I was scared. How did I know he was telling the truth? Reluctantly, I stood up in front of him. He was much taller than I expected. I stood on my tiptoes, and as soon as I was leaning in for the kiss, he said, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, how was that? He asked expectantly. I looked down at the floor and back up at him. I'm sorry, I just don't remember you. The color ran out of his face as he replied. It never happened.
Have you been in a more than friend relationship with the mother of your best friend? Did she invite?
Hey, I'm Caroline, or Velma Scooby-Doo, and my neighbor made my life hell by listening to loud music every single night. I knew I had to get rid of him. He's just listening to it.
My dad's girlfriend is 16.
Loud music. I mean, I set him up, and now he's in prison. What? Let me tell you how I did it. Okay, let's hear your revenge plan, girl. I want to hear how you did it. How did you get a guy to go to prison? It all started after I got my promotion at work. Finally, I had enough money to move out of my mom's home and to find my own place. It was a one-bedroom apartment, and I absolutely loved it. But right when I went to bed at midnight, my neighbor started playing loud metal music. I waited for 5 minutes, hoping he would turn down the music again, but nothing happened. So I decided to knock on his door. Of course, I was scared, but I had a knife with me, just in case. What? He's just playing loud music. Why are you bringing him? When he opened the door, he looked drunk and smelled like he hadn't showered in months. What do you want? He said. The music is too loud. I can't sleep, I answered. Oh. Ooh, she's excited, but she's about to be happy very soon. Hey, I'm Jessica, and 3 weeks ago, my dad told me he was having a new girlfriend. I was so excited for him because after my parents divorced, he was really depressed. So it was about time he moved on and found me. But then he dropped a college? I asked my dad what his boyfriend was, and he said 21. 21? I'm 23. Dad wants to date a girl who's anything. I tell my dad that he should live his life. The next day, we arrived at our home with a big suitcase. My dad opened the door and they immediately started kissing. So gross, I had to look away because Jenny had her hands on my dad's ass. Ugh. After they had finished, Jenny took a look at us and said, "Yeah, I guess it's okay." What a bitch. And the next day while eating dinner, she told me, "I'm so glad your dad came to America. I could never have a job like that in school. College is really hard, you know." Oh, jeez. This made me angry because when I went to college, my dad made me get a part-time job because he insisted I pay him rent. I never complained because I knew my dad had lots of debt and I wanted to make things easier for him. But then Jenny started talking about how my dad bought her a new $15,000